Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 29, Text 25. Archadav archayet yata vad Ishwaram mam swa karma krit yavanna veda swariti sarva bhutesha avasthitam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Performing his prescribed duties, one should worship the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until one realizes my presence in his own heart and in the hearts of other living entities as well. Again, Lord Kapiladev is continuing with that one should realize the presence of the Lord in our heart, because the Lord is omnipresent. So as the Paramatma feature, he is present in our heart. And then we will realize that, oh, I'm not the Paramatma, I'm not God, but God is there in my heart, sitting next to me. I'm different and God is a separate personality. There are two of us. Worship of the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is prescribed herewith, even for persons who are simply discharging their prescribed duties. They are prescribed duties for the different social classes of men, the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Shudras, and for the different ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grahas, Vanapras, and Sannyas. So this Varna Sharma system, the 8 divisions of society, they are created by Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I have created this. Guna Karma Vibhagasa. The Varna Sharma system I have created, but not based on birth, but it is based on guna and karma, based on our nature. So whatever position we are in, we have some prescribed duties that each of us have to do. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Arjuna wanted to retire. He said, Krishna, I don't want to do my duty. I'm going to just pretend that I'm a great renunciate. I've renounced the world and I'll go and live by begging. And Krishna told him, don't be a fool. You're talking like an un-Aryan. Un-Aryan. You're not speaking like a civilized person. You do your duty, but you do it for my pleasure. That is the way Krishna is, through Arjuna, Krishna is giving us instructions. Our duties sometimes are very difficult to perform and we want to give them up prematurely, Oh, I want to renounce because it's so difficult to do it. But Krishna is saying, you do your duty, but for my pleasure. That's how we should come to that point. Do our duty for the pleasure of Krishna. How will we be able to do our duty for the pleasure of Krishna? We need to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. We need to hear about Krishna from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. If we don't do it, we will forget. We will forget that we have to work for the pleasure of Krishna. Again, we will get attached to the results of our duties. Again, we will create karma for ourselves. So the prescribed duties, whatever position we are in, we do our prescribed duties for the pleasure of Krishna. And so we hear and chant regularly to be able to do it for the pleasure of Krishna. One should worship the deity of the Lord until one appreciates the presence of the Lord in every living entity. And also, you see, many people, we say, oh, I'm too busy to think about Krishna, or I'm too busy to hear about Krishna or chant the holy name because I'm busy doing my duties. I have a lot of work to do, too busy. But Bhagavatam says, if we are just busy doing our duties and our duties don't bring us to the point of worshiping Krishna, then it's just simply a waste of time. Why? Because we may do our duties very well, but it's still going to keep us in the material world. We are creating more and more bodies for ourselves, future lives for ourselves. So the idea is, yes, we do our prescribed duties, but we gradually increase our attachment to Krishna so that at the end of life, when we have to give up this body, we go back home, back to Krishna. And we are recommended, the householders especially, are recommended to worship the deity, deity worship. So, by deity worship, we can keep our houses clean, our minds clean, and we follow the rules and regulations because the deity is there. And also it helps us to bring a detachment, because then we can come to the understanding that, oh, the house belongs to the deity, everything belongs to the deity, like that. It helps us in our Krishna consciousness. So in other words, one should not be satisfied simply by discharging his duties properly. He must realize his relationship and the relationship of all other living entities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are so muddled up in our relationships here in the material world that we have forgotten our most important relationship. And our most important relationship is with God. That relationship is eternal. It is not based on any material body that we take. It is that relationship is unbreakable. It's eternal, never gets broken. And this is the goal of human life, for us to realize our relationship with God. So as I have a relationship with God, similarly, all other living entities also have relationship with God. It's not that, oh, I'm so special that only I have a relationship with God, and other living entities, no. They have nothing to do with God. No, each and every living entity belongs to God, is a part and parcel of God. So this is what we need to realize. We need to realize I am a part and parcel of God, and so is every other living entity. If he does not understand this, then even though he discharges his prescribed duties properly, it is to be understood that he's simply laboring without profit. So we may be doing our duties perfectly, but if we have not come to the point of God consciousness, then it's simply a waste of time. Simply waste of time. The results are going to go. It's just material. The word Swakarmakrit in this verse is very significant. Swakarmakrit is one who engages in discharging his prescribed duties. It is not that one who has become a devotee of the Lord or who engages in devotional service should give up his prescribed duties. No one should be lazy under the plea of devotional service. One has to execute devotional service according to his prescribed duties. Swakarmakrit means that one should discharge the duties prescribed for him without neglect. So because some of us may take advantage, oh, I have to just engage in devotional service, I have to renounce the world. No, that is not what Krishna is saying. That's not what the literatures are saying. Prabhupada would say, if we cannot remember Krishna while doing our duty, then how will we remember him when we leave the body? At the time of leaving the body, then how will we be able to remember Krishna if we don't remember him while we are doing our duty? So we have to do our duties, whatever they may be, but at the same time, do them for the pleasure of Krishna. Yes. Is that okay?
Yes.
Did you want to add anything to it? No, then we'll continue reading. Atmanascha parasya piya karoti antarotaram tasya binadrisho mrityur vidade bhayam ulbanam. As the blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes the least discrimination between himself and other living entities because of a differential outlook. There are bodily differentiations among all varieties of living entities, but a devotee should not distinguish between one living entity and another on such a basis. A devotee's outlook should be that both the soul and the supersoul are equally present in all varieties of living entities. As the blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes the least discrimination. So we can see what Lord Kapila Dev is giving his instructions to Devahuti is the same what Krishna speaks to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Bhagavad Gita. There is never any contradiction. Krishna is simply repeating the same thing. It's only we feel, oh, what is this old knowledge? Let me manufacture something new, let me make something exciting. No, Krishna says, time I am. Krishna is time. And in the form of time, he devours everything as death. As death. So we may say, I don't want to surrender to Krishna. But ultimately, at the end, when we have to give up this body, we do surrender to him. Because as time, he is death. So this is what it is. And then Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita that one who is really learned, the intelligent Brahmana, one who is really learned Brahmana, he sees with equal vision a cow, an elephant, a dog eater, and a gentle and learned Brahmana. He makes no distinction. What he sees is that simply there is the soul and there is a super soul inside these different bodies. It's only the bodies are different. The bodies are just like clothes, sometimes you are wearing jeans, sometimes shorts, sometimes traditional clothing. That's how the bodies are. But the person, that is the soul, and together with him is the supreme person, the super soul. That is how a learned person sees, a person who's intelligent sees, because he sees through the eyes of Shastra. Seeing with knowledge means seeing through the eyes of Shastra. So the learned person, he sees, when he sees a dog, he sees that there is a living entity. Now, this living entity, because he misused his independence, he made some wrong choices, and that's the reason he's in the body of a dog. And when he sees a Brahmana, he understands, oh, this living entity is making correct choices. He's not misusing his independence. So in the same way, he's seeing both as a living entity. He's seeing both as a living entity. Of course, he's not that he's going to go and, embrace a tiger, as Prabhupada would say. But the idea is there is the soul and the super soul. This is what we need to understand. Reading on, Athamam sarva bhuteshu bhutatmanam kritalayam arhaye dana manabhyam maitreya bhinnena chakshusha. Therefore, through charitable gifts and attention, as well as through friendly behavior, and by viewing all to be alike, one should propitiate me who abide in all creatures as thy very self. It should not be misunderstood that because the super soul is dwelling within the heart of a living entity, the individual soul has become equal to him. So we might start thinking, oh, the Paramatma is in my heart, so I'm God, I'm the Paramatma. No, that is not the correct way to understand. The Paramatma, yes, he is in our heart, but he's sitting together with us. We are sitting next to him. We are not the Paramatma. There are two entities. One is us and me, myself, and next to me is sitting the Paramatma. So that is for each and every living entity. The equality of the super soul and the individual soul is misconceived by the impersonalist. So the monist, the monism theory teaches that everything is one. There is only one. Oneness. The soul and the super soul is one. But that is not the correct theory. We can see it intellectually, logically, that I am not everywhere. I'm just in my body. But the Paramatma is everywhere. He's in your body, my body, and everyone's body. Krishna is saying that in the Bhagavad Gita. But me, I'm not in your body. I can't feel what you're feeling. I'm not conscious of your body at all. Similarly, you're not conscious of my body. Why? Because you're only in your body. You're not everywhere. So if we try to understand with some logic, we will come to understand, oh, the soul is not equal to the super soul. There is a difference. There's a difference between the Atma and the Paramatma. There's a difference between the individual soul and the Supreme Lord. So here, and so then we should try to understand, then what's my relationship with the Supreme Soul? So here it is distinctly mentioned that the individual soul should be recognized in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Our identity is that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We have no independent identity. That is how we can understand ourselves. That is self-realization. Part and parcel of God. The method of worship.
Sorry. So means, like we say about a yogi, right, who becomes one with the Supreme and he loses his individual existence. Is that what it means?
Actually, at no point can we lose our individual existence. It's not possible.
Yeah, but this is what, right? They feel. I mean, this is how.
Yeah. So
so
the impersonalist, the impersonalist, not the yogi, but the speculators. The yogis will see the Paramatma in the heart by meditation. As we were hearing in the earlier chapters, that the yogi, what does he do? He's meditating. He's meditating on what? On the Paramatma. So he can see the form of Paramatma in the heart. But yes, the impersonalists, the Gyanis, what their goal is. Yeah. So the Gyani's goal is that I need to give up my individuality and I'm going to become God. But that is just phantasmagoria. It's not a fact. Why? Because at no point can the soul disappear. Can the soul not exist? Because the soul is eternal. Because it is spiritual, so it is eternal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So even if someone may reach the Brahman, the Brahmajyoti, still that individual soul is there. Although they are thinking, I've become God, that's only their thinking, but it's not reality. And after some time, they will come back to the material platform. Why? Because how much can you just sit down and do nothing and pretend I'm so great? Then again, we have to do something. We have to do some activity. And because they don't know about spiritual activity, they will do material activity. Yes.
So the impersonal realization is not monist. Is it monist?
Yes, it is monist. Yes.
It's monist.
Oh. Yes. It is monism. Again, in the impersonal realization, there are two groups of people. There's two groups of people. There's one group of people who understand that God is light, but I'm not God. They are the Brahmavadi. Their understanding is correct understanding. Okay, it's not complete, but at least it's not incorrect. Because they understand there is a difference between God and me. Only they're not able to understand that God is a person, and they've understood, okay, God is light, but they understand that I'm not God. There's a difference between God and me. But the monist, they think I'm God. So I have forgotten I'm God, but I'll do some meditation, or I'll get some knowledge, or I'll do something, and by that, I'm going to become God one day. That is an incorrect theory. Why? Because no one can become God. How can anyone become God? God is God, We can't become God. We just have to realize who we are. That is self-realization. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So the method of worshipping the individual soul is described here as either giving charitable gifts or behaving in a friendly manner, free from any separatist outlook. Behaving in a friendly manner, free from any separatist outlook. So What is being a true friend to every living entity? Friendly behavior. We are now here, Lord Kapila Dev is saying, you be friendly by viewing all to be alike. So does it mean that we engage in unnecessary talk? What do we think it means to be a friend? What does it mean to be a friend? Is it that I need to engage in gossip with you, or I need to, just kill my time with you? What actually is it to be the friend? A friend is the best well-wisher who will connect us to God. So friendly behavior means understanding every living entity is part and parcel of God. Let me introduce them to God. That is true friendship. That is true well-wisher. Yeah. So that means being free from any separatist outlook, understanding that maybe this living entity is right now in the body of a pig, but this is a living entity. He's not just a body. He's a living entity too. That's the meaning. So the impersonalist sometimes accepts a poor individual soul as being Daridra Narayan, meaning that Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has become poor. This is a contradiction. So there is certain class of people who say that poor people are Narayan. Doesn't mean anything. God is not poor. God is the source of all riches. Bhagavan, the definition of Bhagavan means one who has all the opulences. And so why should the poor man be God? And why should God become poor? It makes no meaning. This is a contradiction. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in all opulences. He can agree to live with a poor soul or even with an animal, but this does not make him poor. So the Paramatma, he's there in the heart of the poor man, but it doesn't mean he's not in the heart of the rich man. If you say that, oh, Narayana is there only in the heart of the poor man, but what about the rich man? Why is the Paramatma not going to be with the rich man? The Paramatma does not make any distinctions like that. So the Paramatma is there in the heart of the pig, he's there in the heart of the poor man, and he's there in the heart of the rich man. He's everywhere because he's with the living entity, the soul. The soul may be in the body of a pig, the soul may be in the body of a poor man, or the soul may be in the body of a rich man. But the Paramatma is always with the Jivatma till the time the Jivatma is in the material world. That's why he's our best friend. God is our best friend because he never leaves us alone. He is always with us in our heart till the time we are in this material world. Then we'll say, but what about in the spiritual world? In the spiritual world, we do not need the Paramatma. Why? Because we can see God face to face. God is there. We can associate with him. We can talk to him. We can have a relationship with him. In any of the Vaikuntha planets, and especially in the highest planet, Krishna Loka. Krishna is there himself personally. So there are two Sanskrit words used here, man and dana. Man indicates a superior and dana indicates one who gives charitable gifts or is compassionate towards an inferior. We cannot treat the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an inferior who is dependent on our charitable gifts. When we give charity, it is to a person who is inferior in his material or economic condition. Charity is not given to a rich man. Similarly, it is explicitly stated here that man, respect, is offered to a superior and charity is offered to an inferior. So man, respect. Respect is given to who? To a superior. Dan, charity. Charity is given to who? To someone who does not have. I have something, someone else doesn't have it, I give it to them. That is charity. So charity is given to someone who is inferior. So the living entities, according to different results of fruitive activities, may become rich or poor, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unchangeable. He is always full in six opulences. So, we, the living entities, sometimes we are in the body of a rich person, sometimes we are in the body of a poor person. That just depends upon our karma. But God is never going to become poor. He's always the richest. He's the source of all riches. He's never becomes poor. He's always full in six opulences. Treating a living entity equal does not mean treating him as one would treat the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Compassion and friendliness do not necessitate falsely elevating someone to the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see, we just have to become honest. We have to become honest. Real compassion, real friendliness, understanding every living entity is part and parcel of God. We don't have to give false words to anyone. That is not true friendliness. So we should not at the same time misunderstand that the supersoul situated in the heart of an animal like a hog and the supersoul situated in the heart of a learned Brahmana are different. So we may say, oh, the Paramatma is sitting in the heart of the pig and there is a Paramatma in the heart of a Brahman. So those two Paramatmas are different. What do you think? Is he different or is he the same?
It's the same.
Yes, it's the same. Paramatma is one. He's one. He's not. So now we are, how many ever of us are in the group? Does it mean that there are so many Paramatmas? How many Paramatmas are there?
There's only one.
Yeah, it's only one. Thank you.
So in the spiritual world, also there's Atma and Paramatma, correct?
So in the spiritual world, there is Atma and there is God himself in his personal form. So we do not, so God is not there in his Paramatma feature in the spiritual world.
Oh,
yeah. The Paramatma is there only in the material world to accompany us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So the super soul in all living entities is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. By his omnipotency, he can live anywhere and he can create his Vaikuntha situation everywhere. That is his inconceivable potency. Therefore, when Narayan is living in the heart of a hog, he does not become a hog Narayan. He's always Narayan and is unaffected by the body of a hog. So someone may say that Paramatma is sitting in the body of the pig, so he's become a pig Narayan. No, Narayan is always Narayan. He is always in his transcendental position. He does not get mixed up with the material energy. So his position is always that of Supreme Lord. Yeah. Like the sun, the sun shines on the dirty things. Does it mean the sun has become impure? The sun shines on all the filth and the sewer and the dirty, like you see this horrible things. There'll be the urine and the stool, everything. Does it mean the sun has become impure? What do you think?
No, definitely not.
The sun never gets impure. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I have one question. Like we have conscious and subconscious mind, right? And we have, because we are able to think and speak and express, but the animal who have even they have mind, but they cannot express their feelings. Even inside them also the Paramatma is there. They have also their own soul, and the Paramatma is also situated in their heart. But what is the way to make them pure? Because they cannot chant, they cannot hear, but they cannot understand what is the mantra and what is the sloka. So what is the way to like fish or tiger?
Yeah, so then you could give them prasad. I don't know if the tiger is going to be willing to eat prasad from your hands, though. You need to be careful. Tiger might eat us up in that bargain. So the best way we can help the animals is to give them prasad, do Hari Nam Sankirtan. That's the best way we can help animals. But similarly, give it to the human beings also, who are more easier to revive the Krishna consciousness.
No,
Don't keep the
actually,
living entities aside.
like how the animals will go to Godhead, like because they don't have any way to like chant and hear.
Yes.
So that's why
So
I'm worried, like what is the way? Will they still in every birth as tiger or alligator or fish, or they will go to Godhead? Is there some
you
way?
can give them prasad so that in the next life they can come to the human being platform and then they can do devotional service. But that also will depend on their desire, you know. So, but if you can focus your energy to give Krishna consciousness to human being, you can help them create the desire to go back to Godhead. Then
Yes,
that human
yes.
being can, because even the human being is a living entity.
Yes, yes.
You know, so this is what, it's not that only the animal, the tiger and the alligator needs to go back to Godhead. The human being also needs to go back to Godhead.
Mm. Yes.
Yes. So if we
Yes.
are able to give Krishna consciousness, that's the reason Lord Chaitanya, what did he say? You do Sankirtan on the streets. So whoever is hearing can get delivered. Even the germs in the sky, in the
Yes,
air, the animals, the birds, and the human beings. Everyone will get delivered.
Mm.
Yes, makes
Thank
sense.
you. Thank you.
So
Yes,
do
thank you.
Harinam. Do
Yes.
Harinam. Everyone will get delivered.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
thank
there
you.
was one video, I got on WhatsApp, and it showed that, on dog, I think, you would hear the Kirtan. So he also started, like, how in his voice, Ram, 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 he was going on and on and on. So, yeah,
Very good.
that's how, like,
So
see,
when
our
we are doing,
kids also pick up very fast, like you teach them, they can repeat,
yes,
right?
very good. Very good. So what happens is when we are doing Sankirtan, then we can give Krishna consciousness to so many living entities at one time.
Right.
You know, that's the reason Sankirtan is encouraged, and that is the process for this age of Kali that Lord Chaitanya has given us. Harinam Sankirtan. Thank you so much. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Bhagavatam ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. I'm so sorry, Sneha. It's gone so much.